I'm muted. Hey guys. I always mute the microphone before I thanks. So I'm not saying something in the theme song. But anyway, welcome to another Toy Artist interview episode. And thank you everyone for being here. Silver Moon, Linda's here, Comic Dad is here. Thank you for the no sound comments. But what Toy Artist interview is I'll interview anyone who joins the Dork Master tier on the membership I have here on YouTube, and it always ends up being really great because I always end up learning so much about something. Some toy photography. One, I learn something about the person, learn something about myself. It's always really fun. I'm really happy you guys are here. So hopefully learn with me. So I've got the man right here, Chris. How you doing today, sir?
How's it going, sir? How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for everything. Thanks for being part of the membership. Thanks for coming on, talking with me. And I'm sure you're probably you were sitting there watching me with no sound. He's like,
no, because I was wondering. I was like, can I hear him? Is it just the light? Am I seeing anything?
But yeah, tell me a little about yourself, and tell me a little bit about your toy photography of Rogue XXL. Tell me about all that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was in the service for about 9 years, and after that, I went to college and did construction for a while, and then now I work for telecommunications. But how I came around with photography, like during my high school years, I took all the art classes, like photography, painting, drawing, all that good stuff. And then I actually got a scholarship to go to the Omaha Art School, and actually turned it down because I was going to the military. So I was like, I'm going all Army. So that I always had the artistic background in me. And then about 2 years ago, I decided to tap into the whole streaming industry with like Call of Duty and whatnot. So one day I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and buy everything. So I went and bought the mic,
Nice.
a new PC. I bought this little guy right here, which is my Alpha 6000, bunch of lights and all the studio stuff. And then streaming is really hard. so if you don't commit to it, it is really, really hard. And having a full-time job and trying to do this at the same time, it was kind of conflicting. So I took a step back from it. And then one day I came across a TikTok of action figure photography. I was like, that's really cool. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, I can do that. Like I have Photoshop. I have a decent
Awesome.
camera. I have action figures, and then they just flare up. And then that was literally a year ago.
Wow. I mean, a year ago, that's real quick. That's super quick. But I think that's super cool. And one of the things about toy photography is like you see it and you're like, that's cool. Wait, I can do that. Like I love that about it. Because it's so easy to get drawn into it, and anybody can do it. And that's just like, that's one of the really cool things about it. It's very approachable.
Yeah, and definitely one of the things I definitely should start off is saying, like, I really want to thank you for putting up the YouTube channel and everything, because I don't want to sound cheesy, but because of your YouTube videos, I actually got into it, because like the tutorials, I was like, oh, okay, so this is the aperture, and okay, so this is about the fireworks, and then I'll watch a video and be like, wait, how did that guy say? So I will go back to the YouTube videos and watch the YouTube videos for tutorials. So like a lot of the things that I do is because of your videos, to be honest, and there's only another YouTuber besides you that actually learned all my quality and how I have my arts because of your videos.
That's like the coolest thing ever. Well, thanks so much for watching them, and it means everything to me that they were helpful at all. That's like everything I could possibly hope for when I make one of those. So that's so cool, and thanks just for watching.
Yeah, and then like they were so easy to follow. They were not so complicated, because a lot of like camera videos and like photography videos, they are like aperture at 700 and by so you're like, oh, well, like I didn't even know what the shutter button is, like, but like you were actually very simple, like, hey, this is what shutter speed does, if you want this and if you want that, so that was very easy to follow. And then that was, with practice, becomes a lot easier. But yeah, definitely do, like, you did a really, really good job with tutorial videos, for sure.
Awesome. That's so cool. I appreciate it, because I definitely know the feeling of feeling lost and like, I don't know what any of this stuff is. I need somebody to break it down for me step by step, and then even more in between step by just so.
And it's also because awesome. Like, you're learning too as well. I mean, like the cool thing about this and why I like it so much is because I'm like myself, I'm not afraid to like tell, hey, I'm learning. Like I don't know it all. You know, like there's a video where you talk about the linear, how like the action figures, if they're in the same line, they will be in focus. And you were like, I just found out about that, and I was like, like that's cool, man. Like he's learning just like I am. Like so I can feel like the I can understand that.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it. I'm really glad it comes off that way because yeah, I certainly am still still learning. So yeah, and I also just want to say a quick thanks to everyone in the chat here. You guys are being fantastic. Thank you so much to the VR Frog and Ben. Thank you as always, man. You're the man. But seriously, and I wanted to say too, right from the bat, thanks for your service, first of all, and thanks for watching the videos. And I know that's just really awesome. And I think it's really cool too. You mentioned before you actually started getting into this, even before you joined the military, you had taken like some photography classes and stuff like that. So what kinds of stuff did you learn from there that you have been able to apply to what you're doing now?
Definitely
with toy
Photoshop.
photos?
Definitely Photoshop. I mean, that was the first thing that I can recall learning a lot from it. It was definitely Photoshop. We also did like developing film and stuff like that, like very basic photography, but nothing like angles or shutter speed. It was very basic. Plus, I was like 17, 18, 16, so I didn't really, keep all the information. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Photoshop is like having that prior like learning for Photoshop is really huge. I that's the only reason I had some type of I was able to use it when I first started using it for toy photography because I took a class for Photoshop in high school.
Yeah,
and it's super helpful. So helpful.
Yeah, and everything's like lined up, right? Like to me, it was like art, imagination. I love comics. I love nerd stuff. I love Star Wars and everything. It was just like, oh well, I like action figures. I used to play when I was a kid. So it was just like a combination of like everything. And then now lately I've been getting to like dioramas and like as you can see like models. So I'm like that's a whole different door that I just opened up, with everything combined together. So it's super, super cool.
That's so cool. And so when you use like the full on Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud.
Yeah, so I about a month and a half ago I actually was switched from Photoshop to Affinity Photo.
Okay.
It's like just a tier down below Photoshop. It's $45, $50, and you get to keep it. I didn't like the whole membership. Like you have to pay every month, especially when I was not a student anymore. It's really expensive. So
it adds up.
Yeah, really quick. So definitely the Affinity Photo, and then I switched to DaVinci for my video editing, and that just made it like super affordable and easier to follow. But I do miss Photoshop because there's a lot of features that Affinity Photo does not have. I do have like After Effects, Light Effects on my phone, but yeah, definitely Photoshop is like just small tier high up there.
Cool. That's really cool. So Affinity, and I'm right here with Comic Dad. Yeah, Photoshop is expensive. Luckily, I'm able to use because my wife has the student account, so it's a little bit cheaper for us, which is great. But yeah, which is great. So Affinity Photo, I've never used that, and I know a lot of people have mentioned it before. It's a one-time purchase, right? Like you said, $45, then you got it.
You got it. Yeah, it's very, very similar to Photoshop. I'll be lying to you if I said that we're not trying to copy Photoshop, but it's missing some features that Photoshop has. Plus, if you're looking for tutorials on YouTube, there are a lot more tutorials of Photoshop than Affinity Photo. So you have to pick and choose what you want.
Have you been able to take any like tutorials about Photoshop and use them in Affinity? Like do a lot of things?
Yep. All your like the layering stuff like that. All that came from your videos too as well.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's really
100%.
Cool. That's good to know because because it's hard. Like when I'm thinking like I want to make editing videos, but like everybody uses different stuff, but I use this one, so I'm like I think this will apply to this, so that's good to know that it'll also help and apply to that.
Yeah. Even like the button layout's a little bit different, but like if you show like how to do the layers, for example, when you apply like the effect will be light or lit, livid. Well, Affinity Photo may not have that, but I can kind of understand what I'm looking for,
Cool.
But so it's helpful. It's still helpful, even though it's Photoshop. It's still super helpful.
That's really good to know. Okay, well, cool. Well, if anyone's interested in something Photoshop-like and you don't like GIMP, because GIMP's the other one I usually recommend because it's free,
Yeah.
but Affinity sounds great.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
definitely gonna have to look into
Yeah.
that. Um, so let's get into some of your shots here. So if you're
Yeah.
not already, make sure you're following Rogue XXL on Instagram. He's almost at 1,000. If we can get him to 1,000 followers, that would be the coolest thing ever. That would
Yeah.
make
I
me
really appreciate
incredibly
it.
happy. So definitely make sure you're following him. I have his Instagram linked right in the description of the video, so you don't have to even type anything in. You can just tap on it right there. So yeah, definitely make sure you're doing that. So the first thing I wanted to go over, because I was just kind of scrolling through
Yeah.
for a while. I love this like series you had here
Yeah.
where it was like Thor. So we've got Thor versus Superman.
Superman. Yeah.
And so here's basically the intro shots: Thor,
Yep.
Superman.
Yeah.
And so they're just going at it.
Yeah.
And then they're still going at it with and down to the sunset. And
Yeah.
then this is my favorite one.
Yeah.
So it looks like when I look at this, I'm just like, dang, he just had like a great time, like in the dirt, just like digging around, making
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
effects and stuff. It just looks like so much fun. And this one's my favorite. It looked like you like dig a little bit of like a crater
Yeah.
impact kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Just with my heel, just drag down, and then I just add some dirt to it to make it look somewhat like, But yeah, it's all. There are some After Effects, very few like dust, but the majority of stuff is like throwing sand into it and stuff like that. So
Cool. Yeah, mixing like practical and digital effects. I think
yeah,
that's like the best
it
possible.
is. Yeah, but you have to be. It's a very thin line from like really good quality to really bad quality. Because one thing I learned from watching you guys' videos and then your videos is practical effects. It's the way to go, in my opinion. I mean, like real life fireworks, real life sand, real life. That makes a huge difference. However, if you can add just a little bit of just After Effects, it makes it look cool. And I think you can see that on the challenge we did for metal, for the month of metal. I did like Colossus.
Yes, that one was this one.
Yeah, that one I used After Effect a lot of it, but I had to be very careful how I use it, and I'd use prior lights to it, and use some of that green color or the bluish color prior to using that effect, so make it look real.
Yeah. You did a really great job with mixing the effects. It's like you thought about the After Effects during.
Yep.
You must have, because like the blue
Of
light
course.
on Colossus matches like the lightning bolts you've got going on,
Yeah.
which is perfect. It's so that's like it mixes really really well. It's like having a visual effects supervisor on hand while you're
Right.
during your
Exactly.
toy shoot. That's so cool. So yeah, being able to think about that while you're shooting is incredibly helpful. So then you basically have your shot ready for the digital stuff
Yeah.
afterward.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah, and I mean every time, and all the guys that done this, it looks you will realize that every time you take a photo, you learn something from it. You learn a little bit something. You're like, oh, I can do this next time, and oh, the more I can do now, the less post production I can do, the way better do it.
Yeah, I agree. And that I think that's like the most valuable lesson is just like every time you're doing anything with,
Yeah.
I mean, in life too, but especially with toy photography, anytime you're doing something, you're learning something. And so every photo, you're gonna have more skills every time because you learn something every time, especially if you try something hard or something different
Yes.
that you haven't really done before.
Yep.
So I always think it's like, yeah, it's super important to try something new or go a little bit out of your comfort zone, not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because even if you try it and like, yes, it sucks, which is gonna, I mean, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Then
it happens all the time. Yeah.
you're gonna be so much better the next time you try it, and you're gonna learn so much from it.
Yeah.
Trust me, I can't tell you how many crappy photos that I've taken and been like, nope, this is not. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
post
and
this
I'm a
one.
huge advocate for quality over quantity. So like
Yeah.
sometimes I know like the algorithm that wants you to do it like every day, every 5 minutes, just to keep yourself super busy. But I will post a picture once a week, once every 2 weeks. But that picture is a really good picture that whenever they go into my page and be like, oh, this is a good quality, not just like a bunch of nonsense.
That's true. I completely agree, and gives it like if you're doing like every week or something, that gives a little bit of time for the people following you to miss you a little
Yeah.
bit, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I haven't seen one of his in a while. Whoa,
Right.
and it almost makes it like an event. Like when you post, it's an event.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely have an awesome group that I created because like I fell in love with this. Like within the first month of me taking the first shot, I was like, this is cool. This is really cool. Like toys, action, Star Wars, photography, art, everything. And I was like, I should probably start a group. And I started a group called hashtag Rope Toys with a Z. And every Sunday we actually do something like that. We actually have a theme. And now, for example, that one was for the collab. That was for the sun. That was like the theme was the sun.
That's
So we
so
had,
cool.
yeah,
Hashtag Rogue Toys.
yep. And we have great guys, great artists. I mean, those guys are just like we became a family for the past year. So I'm really really proud of those guys.
That's so cool. Well, congrats. That's really great. That's really really cool. Especially like because I know the feeling too of joining. I don't even say joining a community, but like starting toy photography and feeling like what's the word? Feeling like you're not really like a part of it yet. Like you're
Yeah,
just starting and you're like it's almost a little intimidating
it
at
is. Yep.
first. And so being able to get like a connect with people like that is really
Yeah.
great.
Off the shelf pictures. It's actually he's actually part of our group too. So
Oh, he's the man. He's right here. Yeah, awesome.
yep, yep.
Great, great guy.
Yeah. He does really good pictures and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it was just four of us. Just at the beginning, it was like, hey man, like you have like 100 followers. You want to be like you want to do a collab? Like it was just like super super small and super at the beginning, and everybody's growing.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah. Some guy, I think one of the guys, he started out with like 100 followers, and now he's up to like 1,000. So it's
That's
just like
really
slowly
great.
evolving, yeah, and just this awesome community.
That's such great advice.
There go Mike, yeah, from one of another
Mike
guy.
Mansell.
Yep, really really good guy.
Awesome.
He
Such
speaks a
great
little British for
guys.
me, but he's a really good mate.
That's so cool. That is really really cool. And I can't recommend. I think that's such a great idea. I can't recommend that enough. Like when you're first starting, like finding other people that are like around the same, I don't want to say the same level, but like you've also have also started recently and you could kind of
Hmm.
all join forces and do collaborations and stuff like that. And it's fun
Yeah,
and you can kind of cross promote and spread the love to it's just yeah, that's such a
yeah.
great idea.
Especially when you're starting off, because it can be intimidating. Watch, like I said, um, when you first got into it, and if you don't have a lot of background, you can be like your artwork's not good enough.
Yeah.
But it's just process. It's just step by step.
Yeah. So cool. So yeah, if anyone's watching and you're just starting, I'm sure you can find a lot of other people who are also just starting or whatever, and you can just do some collabs and there's no real rules to how collabs have to work. You can do them however the heck you want. There's no like, oh well, we have to do it like this because that's how everybody else does it. No, you can do whatever the heck you want.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do. One guy, his name is Vast Pix. He does Vast Overtake, and all he does is people will like add a collab on Instagram, and whoever gets the most likes, he will give up away at the very end of like the month or whatever. And then that's
Cool.
how a way to like people like know, it's just like the highway connections with everybody. So there's so many things you can do, especially nowadays, especially Instagram allows you that platform to do that too.
Right. Yeah. That's really cool. That's super inspiring. It's super inspiring. And I know we were talking about how this shot was a collab, but I want to talk about this shot because it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
absolutely. Oh, thank you.
And so the lighting's fantastic, the posing. So this cape looks custom. Is this
It is.
did you make this
So
cape?
I did. So the cape game changed everything for me.
The
When you
cape
start
game.
doing, yeah, when you start working on the capes, I mean, it takes you to a whole different level on your action figures. I mean, it is crazy how good your action figures look when you create your own cape. I
Yeah.
did look yours, the one what you did with the Batman one, but I'm
Yeah.
like,
Cool.
I don't know how to sew, so I used some of that super glue. So I was able to just make it so I can hide. You can see some of that cable a little bit in some of the areas,
Right.
but yeah, but it's really really awesome. Like once like that cape changed everything. I mean,
So
it looks so much better.
the cape looks amazing. It looks
Oh,
absolutely
thank you,
amazing,
thank you.
and it also like the way you have it posed is also amazing. But this is you using like just super glue for this
Yeah,
cape?
yeah. So I just fold the edges um, of the cape and then glue it together, and so like they will hold the wire in spot.
That is really cool. And you just use like regular super glue.
Some of the years they use super glue, but I use a lot of Gorilla fabric glue.
Right.
The
Okay.
problem with that one, it takes a little bit for it to dry, so you have to like hold it in place
Yes.
until it gets super. But once it dries and heals, I mean, it's super super strong.
So fabric glue is the way to go, and that's pretty easy to find.
Yeah, yeah. I
You
mean,
can find that at Walmart.
anywhere. You have a bunch of places. Like I said, super glue, it will do on instant, but you gotta be very careful because everybody knows how to use super glue. It can be very sticky and it
Yeah.
can be messy. But
My
yeah,
hands are always like my fingertips are always like dried out because they've got so much super glue on them
yeah.
whenever I use it. And then, like for the next 2 days, I got like weird feeling fingertips from super glue.
Yeah, I always
That's
have
really
pain.
cool.
I always have pain on my fingers. I don't know why. Like acrylic paint every single time. I don't know
Oh
why.
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
like,
So that's super inspiring. So if like obviously like the capes on figures are not their best. They're not always the best.
yeah,
So if you can go from having that to making a cape like this without any real experience. You just said you didn't know how to sew,
yeah,
which I don't really either. But luckily, my wife is like an expert on that, so I've learned a lot from her. But um, this is just with super glue. Look at that cape. It's
yeah.
perfect. It's literally perfect. So that's amazing. That's really
It's trial
inspiring.
and error, and it's so cheap too. You can buy like a piece of like 12 by 12 inches for like $1.
Right.
Super cheap. So I
Right.
mean, you can change the whole dynamic of an action figure just by adding that small detail.
Yeah. So on top of the cape, the lighting is fantastic. This was just what like at like the perfect the magic hour time of day.
Yeah. So I took your idea from I think it was the Darth Vader one when you have when it's just like the silhouette. That's what I was going for.
Oh, okay.
But then I put the reflector in front of it. I was like, okay, well, I gotta get some. It's not gonna give that
Awesome.
kind of shot. But yeah, that was the idea behind it, where it was just a lot bright sun in the back, and that's what I was going for. The uh, lens flare, those are After Effects.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask next. So is that a lens flare thing you can use in Affinity? Is that where that comes from?
Yep, yep, yep. So you can get brushes for free, and then just slap those in there.
Oh, okay, so this is a brush.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
cool.
There's so many brushes, so many brushes.
That's awesome. Cool, because yeah, I can't not put a lens flare in a photo. Like I have to be like, okay, I'm
It
done
gets
editing.
it gets a little bit of that, little extra
Yeah,
oof.
I'm always like,
Yeah,
where can I add the lens flare?
yeah,
Because it
yeah,
just it makes it makes it look cool. But Comic Dad over here in the chat is like, I love the Assassin's Creed photo. Let's pull
oh
that one up.
yeah, that one, yeah. That one was
This
really hard for me to take a picture because I think it's the McFarlane line, and they are not very postable. They're
yeah, this is an
very,
older one, right?
yeah, they're really, really old. So I had to like find a way to like angle it to make it look somewhat normal. But yeah, that's that was a really hard one because like it was not I couldn't move them too much.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes just a good classic hero pose like this is great. And
Yeah,
yeah, the lighting's great. I love the tone. You definitely have like I don't know what it is, but like there's a certain tone to your
yes,
photos, and this is kind of one. It's like definitely I don't know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, there's a tone you're going for every time
yeah.
that you accomplish, which
There's
is
like
really
a
great.
special filter if you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah, kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah. So
Like
it's
this
because
one.
yeah, and that's real. It's actually next to the river, and you have to like. I'm still learning how to like properly use the f stop so I can get the good background into it, But
Right.
having real life rivers, it makes it so much easier for the pictures. But sometimes it can look fake, but it's real. I promise.
Well, that's good. The fact that it looks fake is a good thing.
Yeah,
Definitely. I mean that means it looks so good that it looks not real.
yeah. You're like this, no what?
Yeah, like one time I think it was on TikTok, someone commented on my photo and they said that looks like it's AI. And I was like,
Oh,
it's not, but
thanks.
that's like a really like I feel really good about that
Yeah,
you
it's like a
thought.
weird compliment. Yeah, like I'll take it.
Yeah, like
I'll
that's really
take it.
cool. So, shot by Minton Fresh over here is like the tank shot he did recently. This
Yeah,
shot is both of these or three of these are really cool, and I
it's,
love how you have like it's your own branded tank.
yeah. That's I did a
Yeah,
lot of what if I can fit my my name on my Instagram somewhere in there. I think it's a lot. It's
yeah,
cool.
I think that's really cool.
Um, there's one with a vehicle. I think it was in a Mustang, and I put in my Instagram with the windshield of the Mustang. It was just a little
Ah,
bit
nice.
different. But actually, this series of sets of pictures, it's kind of like the Thor versus the Superman. I have another set against another tank, so in a couple days I'm gonna drop the other ones, where it's like another Vietnam era tank going at each other. So
Oh, nice. Okay, that's cool.
yeah,
All right, something to look forward to there. I'm also curious as to what type of tank this is. Like, I don't even know how big this could be. This big. This could be this big. Like,
yeah,
so
it's
what is
a
this
it's a one
tank?
to 1/35th scale, I believe. So it's about this big.
Oh,
I
okay,
don't I don't
cool.
have it I don't have it with me, but yeah, they're not super big. Um, I
I
believe
like
this
this
one.
one.
Like I said, I just got into modeling, so I apologize for the people that actually do models. Not mean to insult the whole game. I apologize, but I'm just learning into it. Painting and weathering, all that stuff. I mean, it's a whole different world to that I'm looking into.
So this was a like a model kit. Did you have to
Yeah,
build this?
yep. I got to
Oh
build it, and,
wow.
and I painted all. I paint. I have a couple of videos that I'm planning on putting on my YouTube channel, but I'm not 100% sure because, like I said, I'm not there yet with my knowledge. But yeah, I'm learning everything as I go. Dioramas and coloring and weathering. I mean, it's like different doors that everything can be used for photography, and that's modeling.
Yeah.
So
Well, the paint job on this is freaking
yeah,
fantastic.
thank you. Yeah,
It looks really great.
it took me. I actually built I built that tank because I just had my daughter, my third kid, 2 weeks ago, and I was actually in the hospital, and I didn't have anything to do, so I went to the Hobby Lobby and I bought that tank. So
Okay.
I was sounds horrible, but I was building the tank as my wife was just in labor next to me. I'm like, "You okay, honey?" Like, "All right, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna." Because
Oh
there was a lot
man.
of downtime. It takes a long time to give birth, so
Right.
there was a lot of downtime. So I was like, I'm just gonna use this.
Well, I'm glad it worked out. But yeah, this is really great. Actually, Stubbs over here is asking, is the blast practical?
After Effects.
Cool.
That's
So
After Effects.
the blast coming out of the cannon is, but what about the dirt popping up here?
That's actually you use it with um,
The spray can,
yeah,
the
the
dirt,
air dust,
yeah, the
the
duster
duster, heat
thing.
duster, whatever you call it thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it behind underneath the tank, and it did that effect.
Nice. Works perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I didn't have the blaster because it was too big. It didn't fit there.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of
So
blast.
that
Sometimes you just
straw saved me. Yeah, that straw saved my life because it was just like right underneath it.
cool. And I agree. Will and Force says yes. Once we start custom weathering and
Oh
painting, it's a
yes,
whole new ball game. It really is true because you see every figure or something you buy after that, you're like, I could make this look a little bit
right.
cooler.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I create my own figure, my own little clone trooper, and that's why I started my whole weathering. I was like, oh, so I can
Awesome.
make this figure a
Yeah,
lot better. Like,
it's it's fun. It's fun too, and they really do
yeah,
look better. And they make and after you do that, your figure is now a one of a kind, unique
yeah,
figure,
yep,
which is cool.
100, yep, 100%.
And Mike over here is talking about your YouTube channel. Says, "Mate, people will watch your videos," and I agree.
Yeah, I think if I do go with this, it's going to be like more of a learning new. You go and buy the store, you go into the store, kind of like a toy hunt, and through the whole process up until the photos.
Cool.
That's like my idea of if I ever have time to do to do this.
I think that's yeah. There's definitely value to that. And one time, somebody at my work told me, it was like, sometimes the best way to learn something is to teach it.
Oh, interesting.
So if
Yeah,
you're still feeling like you're still learning, you're gonna kill it, and then
yeah,
it just makes you get to know it even better.
yeah. That makes sense.
So TCP Toys is asking, do you have any Hot Wheels photography?
I do not. I do have a couple of Hot Wheels. There are like very like Fast and Furious from the movies, but I do
Nice.
not. The only vehicle I only have another vehicle photo, but it was a collab with Rogue Toys. But that's about it.
You've done some ship, some plane.
Airplanes.
It's
Yeah, yeah. That was for you for the
yeah.
your Signal figure, and that was super super awesome. That's actually a BTS on that one. Uh,
Yes, I remember this. I remember this one.
yeah, so I did everything from the beginning.
Ah, built that one too.
Yeah,
Both of them.
yep. That's a tank, as you can see from the other one.
Cool. That looks great.
Gundam wing there. And
Cool.
actually custom made that airplane to look like a Star Wars airplane.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. If you look in, there's like a bunch of like Star Wars stickers. You see, like it has like the look stripes, the red stripes, whatever.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
This
It
is
was
a great
super
video.
cold. Oh my god, it was super cold. I live in
Yeah.
Iowa, so like it got really like it was not negative. So it took me a while to get that shot because it was like cloudy, snow, cloudy, snow, cloudy, snow, up until like almost the last week. And I was like, okay, this is now or never. So I went outside and took the photo.
I know the feeling. The weather's bipolar over here in New York too. It's
Yeah.
like, what's it gonna be?
Yeah.
So that's really cool. That's really, really awesome. There was something I was going to ask you. Oh, I wanted to pull up this photo because I really like
Yeah.
how he's interacting with the vines like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So there is a place where I go. It's called Decorah, and they have like a bunch of waterfalls and a bunch
Awesome.
of really cool like creeks and whatnot. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is definitely a cow. This is definitely a. I think, and yeah, it just worked out perfectly. And the game was just about to come out like a couple of weeks after that. It was in March, so yeah. So I was like, I was inspired by the game. I was, wait.
Yeah, definitely. Have you been playing it?
I have not because I'm still trying to finish Cyberpunk.
Oh wow! All right.
I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time because I work. I work a lot. So when I come home, I want to finish that game. I do have the game on my console. It's just
Okay.
waiting for me. It's just as soon as I get that done, I'm gonna jump right into it. But
It's really great. It's
I know.
really,
I
really
heard
great.
some. Yeah, I heard some. It was. I almost bought the Hogwarts, the Harry Potter game,
Oh yeah.
but I was like, I can't do that because this game's gonna come out. I will never play it. So,
Oh yeah. I
so
know.
no, it's on standby. I cannot wait. I heard so many good things about it.
I will say, quick sidetrack about this game. I've been playing it a lot, and
Really?
I have actually reached a really bad bug in the game where like
Oh,
I
no.
can't progress. Like I've been playing it a lot, and I
No.
can't progress at all anymore. So I
no.
won't spoil anything, but you'll come to a point, and this is if anyone else has been playing this game, be careful. Supposedly this is going to get fixed in the next patch, but if you're playing as a different character, you'll know what I'm talking about when that comes. You'll be playing as a different character. Just make sure to use the save meditation points during that time. Because if you don't and you die, you could get respawned in a totally bad place and you can't leave. And it's been very frustrating.
Is it an open world or is it kind of like linear like the previous one?
Just like the previous one.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, if you died like right in that specific location, you could get respawned into a place where you can't leave and can't do anything.
Oh no,
it's bad.
Do you play on console or PC?
On console, on Xbox.
Okay.
So just be careful on that. And Will, the patch from yesterday did not fix it, but apparently EA has said that in the next patch next week it will be fixed. I've been bugging them.
Have you stopped like playing it ever since then, or
yeah, I can't.
Oh no!
Like I have, it's literally like a game-breaking bug. Like I can't do anything anymore.
What? That's a big thing.
It's really bad.
What the heck, EA?
I'm very unlucky of all the I haven't seen a whole lot of it, but they said it's going to be fixed in the next one.
Well, see, good thing I didn't start the game because then that would have been your shoes and then
would have
complained about it.
But other than that, the game really is awesome. Like
I've seen some gameplay and like the customization. I was like, oh my god, so cool. But yeah, I don't want my $60 to go to waste with Cyberpunk because like if I once I stop playing, I'll never play that again. So
yeah, I know the feeling. Azteca says hey to you. Hey. Azteca Vargas. Hey, Chris. Hey, Azteca. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, I think it's my mom.
Hey, Chris's mom.
I think that's my mom. Yeah.
Thanks for watching. So let's talk about some other ones. Okay, so this is the one. I really like this idea.
Oh, yeah.
I think this was brilliant. So this is one of the micro squadron figures from Jazzwares, and then you've got a Gundam in the background.
Another thing that I built too.
Cool, and the scale is really cool. It works quite nicely.
Yeah. It was a hard shot too, because I messed with it for like 20 minutes trying to like get the angle and coming back and just to get it sharp enough. And I thought about taking 2 photos and laying them together, but I was actually able to get it perfectly where it looks out of focus for the Gundam and Boba Fett in focus.
Yeah, it must have been tough because he's
Yeah,
really small and you got to get him up close. And this actually brings me to a question that Comic Dad asked. Like he says, "What camera are you using?" And I'm assuming for this you had to use some type of macro to get that close.
yeah, it was a micro lens. I have the Alpha 7000 for my main photos. I have a bunch of Canons, Rebel T6, and then T3. The T3 was for the longest my to-go-to camera, but that's usually what I use now. But yeah, I do have a micro lens. It was the 300 millimeters, 300.
Mm,
So like it was weird to play with, but that's another thing I want to get into. It's just like close-ups, but it's a whole different
it
world.
really is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I bought my first macro lens in the last 6 months or so, and it's fun. But yeah,
yeah,
it takes a little bit of.
yeah. It's definitely not a moving and shoot. This is like a tripod, and then yeah, that's definitely what I can advise people.
Cool. That's interesting. You're one of the only other people that I know, including myself, that has wears mainly Canon and then switched over to using a Sony.
Yeah, I mean, so, like I said, this guy right here, this was a fair scam. It's a Sony 6000, and that's where I got all my um, first shoots, and then I went to the Canon, and I was like
Oh,
super. I just because I have big hands, I'm 6'3", so I'm a pretty big dude. So like that Sony is kind of super small for me sometimes, you know. But the
yeah,
7000 is a little bit bigger, so it felt good on my hands. But the Canon ones were, it just feels like a camera, you know. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not
yeah.
saying that they're not Sonys are not cameras. It just feels like it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, whatever feels best for you. And I would say I do enjoy using my Sony, but I will say Canon is also much more user friendly. The user
Yes.
interface on Canon is much easier to use um, and enjoyable. The Sony was like when I first, I was like, this is just
Yeah.
like
So
so complicated. Like
yeah,
this is hard. Like I don't
yeah.
want to use this, but
Yeah, well,
eventually
once you
got
get the
used to
hang
it.
of it, it's actually kind of super easy. Once you get the hang of this course, but I like
Right.
the only downside to the 7000 because my next one it's actually the camera that you have. It's the Alpha 7 III.
Mm,
That's what I want. That's will be my next camera if I ever buy one. Just because
cool.
the one that I have now, the shutter speed is super slow. It's like versus even my 6000, it's like a
Oh wow.
so when I do like those fast pictures with like action, I never use my Sony. Use my Canon for that one.
Cool. Yeah, the one I have, the like I like a quick shutter speed for action
Yeah,
and stuff, but it goes way faster than I could ever even need. It goes to like 8,000, which
really.
is just like, what am I gonna need that for if I'm taking a picture of a bullet?
Yeah,
Being
right.
like, it's just like it's so
Slow
fast.
mo. Yeah,
Yeah, for yeah, that's mostly, but um, yeah, it is quite great. So that's awesome to know, and this
yeah.
shot is awesome.
I do love Sony. I think I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to Canon. I'm just gonna keep what I have for Canon lens and stuff like that. But Sony for me now, it just has the extra clarity to the pictures. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But no matter what the heck you're using,
Yeah,
you're gonna
yeah.
put
I mean,
something great out.
if you go on my Instagram, you can like it's a mixed match of Sony and Canon, so you can even tell which one's which.
Oh, okay,
It's just
cool.
yeah, that one was the Canon actually.
There you go.
So
Switch it up.
like I said, yeah,
That's yeah. Because I'll sometimes I'll switch up and I'll whip out my old Canon for filming or something.
yeah,
Um, but this is really cool. So tell me about this one. I
yeah,
love like you got some like flower petals and stuff
yep,
going on. Like
yeah. So when I saw your video of that, because like again, I got into it about a year ago, and when I said I got into this, I mean, it's like action figure collectibles. I didn't know hot toys. I didn't know what the heck that was, and up until like a couple months ago, because I was learning this whole new world of like action figures and stuff like that. That was my very first quote unquote expensive action figure that I got, because everything was like Marvel Legends or Black Series. So this one that
right,
was within the $20 to $40 range. So this was like a big like investment, you know. So I really
definitely
love that action figure. I'm a huge Mandalorian guy. So this was
awesome.
just perfect. I love it. And so this is actually one of my favorite shots I've ever taken. It's that one right there.
It's super crisp and clean. The
Yeah,
lighting is just perfectly bouncing off of all the nice little nooks and crannies of the figure.
yeah,
So yeah, it's a really great shot. And I know that feeling too. The first time you get like kind of a little bit more upscale
yeah,
figure, and it's just like whoa. And then Jesus, no turning back
yeah.
after that. It's
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad it happened because I mean, I was going through this like addiction where every time I went to Target, I was like, "What? Let's check out the toy section and let's check out what they got now." You know, and I was dropping $100 every time I used to go there just buying action figures. And then,
oh man.
yeah, no, it got pretty bad there for a second. I mean, I have a lot of action figures stuff in the basement, but because I bought this expensive one, now I want to just get that level and that high tier of quality. So I have
Yeah.
to slow it down. Well, I can't just drop $200 every time I go out. So I have to like space myself, and that helps me with toy photography because I was buying so many action figures back to back to back that I felt like I wasn't keeping up with the pictures. The whole reason why I was
Yes.
buying them is because I want to take pictures of it. But next thing you know, I have a whole set of the Wakanda series that I haven't even taken a picture of. So I'm glad I did that because I pumped the brakes on it. And be like, okay, let's just do what I have, and then if I want to buy another figure, it better be a really cool, expensive one.
Yeah. It's kind of like what you said about your toy photos. For me, it's been quality over quantity.
Yeah,
And not saying that Marvel Legends and stuff aren't quality, because obviously those are great figures, and I
yeah,
use Black Series and stuff all the time.
yep,
But eventually, you come to a point where like I'm gonna buy less, but I'm just gonna wait and just get like the
yes.
really extra
That's
nice
exactly
ones.
where I'm at right now. Yep. I
Um,
just bought my first Deadpool. What's the brand on Tamashi? Tamashi. I think is that the name of the
yeah,
brand?
Tamashi is who makes this
Yeah,
this
yeah.
product too.
But it was like a $80 Deadpool action figure. That was my latest one.
Nice.
So I was like, oh man. But you can just feel the quality and
Was
just
it a
complete.
Yamaguchi?
Yeah, it came with like the white box. It's kind of small.
Oh,
Um,
it probably was a SH Figure Arts from Tamashi then.
I think it was H. Yep, I think you might be right. I think it was. I
Cool.
think it was
Yeah,
H. Like I
those are
said,
great.
I'm still new, so I apologize for all the collectibles out there. I'm not trying to install it to the game. Like I said, I'm still learning myself. But yeah, it's that's the latest figure I've bought. It's that one.
Nice, cool. Is it the movie Deadpool?
Yep, the from the
Okay,
movie
yeah,
Deadpool.
yeah. I know exactly the box and everything. I've got the same one. It's really great. Yeah, really great
Yeah,
figure. Really, really
yeah,
great.
it's so much better than the Marvel Legend ones.
Yeah, and nothing, and also nothing against. I mean,
Oh no, no, like 90% of my collection is Marvel Legends. So I mean, I'm still gonna buy them. I'm still not, it's
yeah,
just
right.
it's just different. Just a little different.
Definitely. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to turn back from there. Hey, Anthony. So I've got a bunch of questions
Oh
that
yes, yes,
people have
yeah,
thrown in from Instagram. So I'm gonna get started on
yeah,
those because
absolutely.
we've got some really good ones. So and anytime I do any stream like this, I'm always gonna throw up and ask a question on Instagram. So please throw them in there, and then we'll shout you out, and we'll have probably some great conversations started from. So I'm gonna pull them up right here. So right, the first question is from MK500 Shell.YT. All right. What's your favorite thing about toy photography?
Well,
Not a loaded
MK five
question at all.
thousand shield, right? MK 5,000 shield. YouTube. Thank you so much for that question. I think it's honestly it gets me like I'm a huge outdoor photographer. Like I like to take pictures in the outdoor. So whenever I go out for like a walk or a hike with my kids, my camera's in my backpack. Because you never know, you'll find a little corner, and now it's gonna make the picture. So that's what I love about it. It's just the ability to just do it anywhere. If you can get a
Yeah.
small corner of your house, that can turn into a whole different world. Or a small part of your yard with a little grass, and that makes that's what I love about it. It's just like its smallest area can be anything.
Yeah. I love that. I love that too. Yeah. And it kind of changes your look on your perspective on the world because you start
Yes,
looking at things differently because you're like, oh, this would be
yes.
cool. Things you wouldn't think about at all. But now,
I used to have that with
um,
skateboarding. When I used to skate back when in my younger years, I used to look at ramps. I'm like, oh, that's a nice stair rail, and that's a nice handrail, and that's a nice ramp, and oh, I can do a 50-50 out of here. That's my
yeah.
mentality when I used to drive by anywhere. So that kind of went away, but now I have when I'm driving, I'm like, "Ooh, that's a nice creek. That's a nice picture."
Yeah,
You know?
that's another. It's definitely yeah. You look at things differently that way too. That's a cool
Yeah.
comparison. Cool. All right, that's a great, really great answer.
Yeah.
And so MK500, thanks so much for sending that in.
Yeah.
Comic Dad doesn't agree. He says, "I call my front yard Planet Front Yardia."
It's like when you open the doors, like, whole different world.
That's great. That's great. Hey, Blockbuster guy.
Oh, Blockbuster guy, thanks so much for the follow. He just followed me a little bit ago, so I
Oh,
appreciate
sweet.
the likes. Appreciate
It's
it.
great, great dude. Next shot's from Keep Taking Photos. I love that name. Says, how does it feel doing figure photos? So that's another loaded question. So
I know, right?
tell me about how you feel when you're taking a toy
It's
photo.
awesome. I feel like you're grabbing the movie, right? You watch the movie, and you feel like you're putting your hands into the screen and pulling that thing out, and do whatever you want with it. You know, so it's really awesome because like somebody told me this, and I never really crossed my mind. We're photographers. I mean, I know we're artists and whatnot, but we don't really. A lot of us don't consider ourselves as photographers because it's a hobby. But just because we're dealing with 6-inch figure doesn't mean they're not models. You know, it's no different than dealing with a human size. You know.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's really cool just to grab something from the TV or the movies and just turn into whatever you want to, and so that's the cool thing about it. I feel that's what I like.
I agree. I agree. That's really great. Hey, Carlos. What was I just gonna say? And yeah, it is really cool to be able to take characters that you love from a movie or something and put them in a situation that they've never been in before,
Right.
that no one else is in, and so you've created a story with these characers that I
It's
think
like the
I really
Mandalorian
like
with the Pikachu. Like, that's awesome.
right. Yeah.
That's
See,
awesome.
it's
That's
only
awesome.
possible in toy photography. So cool.
Right.
So from Mile High Plastic Guy says, if you could travel anywhere just for toy photography, where would you go? All expenses paid. So don't worry about the money. Where would you go?
Well, that's a good question. I have the hard questions I had to answer really quick. Now this one, I'm like, oh well. Um, I think Rome would be kind of cool, right? Like a Rome like background, really high f shutter, just like
Yeah.
f12 to get everything in the background. Yeah, I think that'd be really really cool. Like Athens, some of that area where like that'd be really that, or like even like the Aztec pyramids. That'd be really really cool.
Whoa. Yeah.
But that'd be really that'd be nice. And of course you have like Colorado and stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
think those ancient pyramids would be the way to go.
Cool. That sounds cool. This makes me think about it. I'd really like to go somewhere like totally flat. Like I would take a
Really?
photo somewhere where the background is nothing. There's nothing but just the ground going forever in the sky.
I
And
think
like
you
there's
want to go to
nothing.
Nebraska.
I'm sure there's great. There's plenty of places like that. Just New York is definitely not at all. But hey, pup. But yeah, I just think that would be fun. Mile High Plastic Guy, great question. I know he's got a couple more, at least one more. So here we go. Question from another Iowan to another Iowan. Where's your favorite place to shoot in Iowa? I suppose.
In Iowa, definitely. Like I mentioned earlier, Decorah. Like from the picture with Cal and the vine, the section up in Decorah. It's a very beautiful area. Iowa doesn't have a lot of places, to that the very like scenery per se. So Decorah definitely has like one of the best places I've taken photos of.
Cool. That's really cool. So, yeah, Mile High Plastic Guy, dude.
So I don't know where you are in the Iowa region, but that's like northeast of Iowa.
All right, cool. Well, any other Iowans who may be here?
Right.
There you go. There you go. All right. Next is from Leo Bihari. Bihari says, "What's your favorite figure to shoot?" I think you did kind of mention it.
Yeah, that's definitely the Mandalorian one for sure.
Yeah, the Mando, which is such a great figure right here. Yeah, this was my favorite figure of 2022, and I love. Sometimes I just look at it on my shelf. I'm like, yeah, look at that.
I have it on my shelf too, and it's just like, and then and part of you just wants to take pictures all the time with it, but I'm like, I can't do that. I have to mix it up. I have to mix it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely guilty of that. Taking the same figure and shooting it over and over. I'm like, I got all these other figures.
Right.
I could use.
Why? Do you? Even the Boba Fett, Boba Fett just got released like a month and a half ago,
Right.
and I'm like, I should probably buy that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another beautiful one. Ooh, Toy Story is just throwing out a question in the chat here. I'll ask it. So it says, if you could work with either McFarlane, Disney, or Hasbro, whichever is your favorite, what character already, what, sorry, whichever is your favorite, what character already made would you like to have a direct input into improving? Oh, okay, I see.
Oh boy.
Mm,
Oh, I mean, the McFarlane line lately, they've been definitely stepping up their game, for sure. So not a lot to, you know, I feel like a lot of Marvel Legends lately, the quality of like the joints are being very wobbly, very loose. I don't know if it's just from that gun, but um, I don't know. I think definitely Hasbro. I don't know. I think Hasbro, maybe the X Men lineup, just make them look a little more real. That'd be really really nice.
cool. Yeah, I mean, there's so many
Oh
possibilities you can answer
yes,
with that. One thing I was thinking the other day was like, what if I had like a Black Series figure, but just in 12-inch form? Like, what if like I just took my Mando Black Series and it was Hot Toy size,
yes,
exactly the way it is, but just
yeah,
big? Like that'd be kind of cool. Like I'm just
yeah.
thinking, like that would be kind of cool.
You will definitely have to weather it for sure,
Oh
for
yeah,
sure, for
yeah.
sure.
All of the what's all of the flaws of it would
Yeah,
probably look
just
even more apparent.
hide it on the.
But I would just be really curious to see what that would be like.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, kind of like McFarlane does kind of a little bit of it with some of the figures when they go 12 inches.
yeah, that's
Um,
true.
um, but it just doesn't feel the same. I don't know why. I much rather them stay on that 7-inch figure than that 12, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
But I get what they're trying to do. An affordable statue,
yeah.
in my opinion.
And Linda throws, and she also loves that same figure so much that she got two of them, one to
Whoa,
keep and one to shoot. That's pretty cool.
that's yeah. I wonder if she has it put it in the it's still in the box. Just
Yeah,
put it
maybe that's
away.
what she meant.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Have a great night, Andrew. Thanks so much, man. All right, TCP Toys. I see your question in there, but I've got a ton of Instagram questions to get to. So if we still got the time later on, keep throwing those questions in. So Leo Barry, B. Harry, thank you so much for that one. But also says, do you make your own capes for your figures? If so, any tips or advice as to how you do so? So we actually had a great in-depth
Yeah,
conversation about capes
absolutely.
before. So yeah, Leo Harry, if you want to just go back a little bit when the screen, just scrub on the YouTube video till you see that Superman photo and talk all about capes. So lots of good stuff there.
So
Talk about. Well, look at that, tripping with toys. We got all the Iowans here in the house.
hey, there you go.
Nice.
Choice.
That's pretty cool.
I love
It's a
hearing like
small
people
world.
from Iowa. I'm like, yeah, I'm not the only one.
Right?
I'm not the only one.
I did from before today. I didn't know anybody from Iowa. Now I know 3.
Hey, there you go.
All right, Leo. Thank you for that. Next from Zap Thwip Boom. If you could only shoot one figure for the rest of your life, which would it be?
Oh, I think it's a Stormtrooper. I think it's a very easy, safe answer because you
Universal.
can do so much with the Stormtrooper. I think because it's like my to-go-to. Sometimes when I'm like, I don't know what to do, I'm like, I'm gonna grab a Cologne Trooper or Stormtrooper. So I think a Stormtrooper is like a really universal. You can put them in any situation.
Right.
It'll be very flexible.
Definitely. And it's also something that everybody knows. Like you could show a Stormtrooper to almost anybody and they'd be able to say Star Wars.
It's Star Wars.
They know, they recognize it. So that's also really cool. So which Stormtrooper though? So I'm assuming probably Black Series, but like specific or just the basic one?
I think it's just a Black Series one. Something very simple and easy. That would be definitely
just the regular old troopy.
I mean, I'm a huge I can't remember the name of from the Rogue One movie. It's the Beach Trooper, the tan ones.
The Shore Trooper, yeah.
Shore Trooper, there you go. Thank you.
Shore Trooper, Scarif Trooper, whatever.
God. That's
Yeah,
so
great
cool.
design. That
So
movie gave
cool.
us so many great designs to it.
Yeah, it's I. This is gonna, you know, I think Rogue One is probably one of the best Star Wars movies out there, in my
You were
opinion.
not alone with that. You were not alone.
I
And
mean, it's definitely not a Star Wars movie, but like it's just it puts the wars in the Star Wars.
yeah,
If that makes sense. You know, the
definitely.
space shooting and sniping and the invasion and then the amphibious attack. I mean, everything about it is just so cool. You know, so cool.
Yeah, it's so good. It really is. It's definitely my favorite Disney era movie for sure.
Yeah,
But it's probably in my top 5 ever, at
yeah,
least. Maybe in top
yeah.
3. I don't know. But yeah, it's so
I don't
good.
know. I'm always it's between that and episode three.
Yeah, that's of course, of
Yeah.
course. All right, Zip. I always want to say Zip Thwap whenever I see his name, but it's Zap Thwip. Zap Thwip. Boom.
So,
Thank you, my friend, for sending in that shot. Next is from Foggy Creations. What do you love most about action figures? So not even about toy photography, just about action
yeah,
figures.
action figures. Well, when I was a kid, I used to love playing with action figures. I mean, that was my thing. I mean, I didn't ride skateboard. I mean, I didn't bike or anything. I was just stay at home and use my own imagination. So I love action figures in general. But I think it's just the ability to use your imagination and bring it to life. That's the cool part about it. You know,
Yeah,
posing it however you want to.
yeah. You're. It's the closest thing like if you have a Boba Fett in your hand, this is the closest thing you'll ever get to the real Boba Fett. You know,
Yeah,
you've got him in your hand, and that's cool.
yeah,
That's really
exactly.
cool. Cool, Foggy. Great question. Really great question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next is from Johnny. He sent in actually a few ones. So, Ganja Wifra says, "What's your favorite indoors or outdoors shooting?"
Ooh. Um, oh, I don't know. So, I think it's the outside. If I shoot on the outside, definitely doing daylight. I'm not very good with night shooting,
Mm.
so I'm not there yet. So I think it's just the daylight and the light using the sun. I think that's my favorite part of it.
Oh yeah, it definitely seems like in general that's what you're doing most
Yeah,
often, shooting outside. Definitely.
yeah.
Um,
I try not to do the inside shooting too much, but like I said, here me being in Iowa, I don't have the ability to go outside all the time, you know. And if I
mhm.
go outside during winter, it has to be a snow related, shoot. So
Yeah, I know that feeling also. And yeah, and one of the things that's great about shooting outside is that you don't necessarily need anything. You can go
right,
out there and everything you need can be out there for you already for free.
correct,
The
yep,
the environment, the sun, all of that. When you're shooting indoors, um,
I mean, you have more control, and you don't feel like
that's true too.
um, so embarrassed sometimes because you're by yourself with playing with toys in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, you have more control when you're inside. But I feel like outside, just everything's like that shoot, like that photo right there. I mean, I just posted the figure. That's all I did. I didn't have to make a
It's
diorama.
all
I
right
didn't have
there.
to mess with water. Everything is just right there.
Yeah. It's really great too when you're just starting out because it's like you don't have like if
Yes.
you just got the figure in the camera, that's all you
Yep.
need. You can go, it's all
Right.
right there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, yeah, outside's great. Indoors great too. They're all great. Everything's
Yeah.
great. Everything's great. So Johnny, that was a great question, and I
Oh,
know I've
Austin
got
Purvis is from Iowa too. I'm looking at one.
yes, so many Iowans here. Look at
I wonder if it's because I sent the
that.
invite.
Everyone's gonna start moving there now because of
Right.
that. Another one from Johnny says, "What's the longest it's taken to get a shot together, including the figure, diorama, etc.?"
Oh, there's a picture of me with a bunch of Mandos. That took me like an hour just for the setup. Just to
Picture
set up.
of you with the Mandos?
No,
Is
it
it
was
like
it was a bunch of Mandos. It was like bull upside the middle. I make the whole diorama out of it. I had set up the table. I had set up the lighting. It took me like an hour just to set that shot up. It's
oh this is awesome. I
yeah,
don't think I've seen this one. This one here.
yes, that one.
This is
That
great.
yeah, this was the first picture of that I used layers, that like the proper way and the bokeh
Okay.
and stuff like that. Because I never, I'm so afraid using bokeh to this day that I just I'm still learning how to do it. But yeah, that was the first time I actually somewhat used a little bit. But yeah, that there's a BTS on that one too from my and you can see like how I did it a little bit of it. Um,
It's a separate thingy.
it's everything. Yeah, sorry, I apologize.
This one.
Yep, that one right there. Yep, and that took me, like I said, it took me about an hour or so to set them up and lighting the fireworks, and it was just yeah, it was just a big mess.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the picture was awesome. I to this day like I actually printed that picture out. It's actually in my bedroom because that was one of the
awesome.
first ones that I was like, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yep.
That's really cool. And you had some help too, which is always great.
Yeah, my wife and my kiddos. Yep.
Wife and the kiddos helping out. That's like incredibly valuable when you actually get somebody to help you out. That like it's amazing how just one extra set of hands can like make it's just 1,000 times easier. Oh, and look at there you are editing all those layers.
Yeah. Again, all thanks to your tutorials, man.
That's amazing. Yep. That's so cool. Well, that's a fantastic shot. So, yeah, there you go, Johnny. There's your answer right there. And I think he's got one more. He says, "What figures you got on pre-order, if any?"
I don't. I don't have. I do a lot of toy hunt when I go just to Walmart. I like that adventure part of it.
Yeah.
The only time I go through like pre-orders or Amazon is if I need a figure. Like the latest one I did, I was trying to build the Ultron from the Marvel Legends ones.
Right.
So I had to get the last piece of it. But other than that, I like going to like comic book stores and just to see like what they have for me, you know, because it just gets my ideas going. Because like, oh, but this figure is awesome. Like I can do this, and then in my head just starts to go, you know, crazy. Versus like me going on Amazon and be like, oh, I just need this. So I try to avoid online shopping as much as possible, but I don't do a lot of pre-orders to be honest.
Yeah, there's definitely something special about going and finding something, and being like, oh, or even finding something you didn't even know was there, or something like that. You're like, oh, I didn't. This is cool. I want this.
I mean, it's a double-edged sword because sometimes when you go, because like I go to GameStop every week, right? And they're like, hey, what's up, dude? Like they know what I'm doing. They don't even ask me how I'm doing, what I'm looking for.
Awesome.
Like, oh, look it around. But sometimes like you will buy something just because you want to buy it, but there's times where you grab something, you're like, this is the best thing. Like this is awesome, and that's a great feeling when you have like no regrets of buying it. I don't care if I spend $45 on it. This is super cool, you know.
Yeah. I agree. Definitely something very special. And yeah, you know, GameStop's a great place. I feel like GameStop gets a lot of hate, but
no,
I like GameStop a lot. I go in there a lot. Yeah, and I get my games there too.
Especially when they had the 50% off on that clearance. Oh man, I was there every day.
Oh yeah, you can get some good deals.
Yes.
Linda's over here saying, I pre-ordered, then forget I reordered, and then get it in the store, and then it shows up in your mailbox. No. Yeah, that's happened to me before. And
really?
Not a whole lot, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I pre-ordered this, but I see it in the store right now. I'll just get it, and then I forget to cancel, and then I just get both, and then I'm like, well, alrighty then. Alrighty then. But cool. All right. And you know, Johnny, I don't have anything on pre-order either. I don't think.
You're a liar.
I don't think I do.
He's a liar. Yes, he does.
No, I really don't. I don't think I have. I don't have any Hot Toys. I don't have any. Oh, you know what? I have a Mezco on pre-order that I pre-ordered like 3 years ago. That's about it. What? Oh, that's all you. She's got an Anakin on pre-order.
No, you should pre-order him too.
I almost ordered the Boba Fett one actually, but I was like, yeah.
Oh, she's got a question.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, he's ready.
Hang on, let me think. I had it and I lost.
Did you lose it?
Okay. What is your favorite part about your toy photography specifically? And do not mention any other members of the community or tips you learned from them. If you did learn it from them, do not mention them. Just brag about yourself.
That's a great question.
Because the community is all about, we love each other, guys. No, you just talk about you and how great you are. Boom.
Oh,
that's a great one. That's your best question.
Oh, shoot. I think it's just, right? I think it's just ability to go out. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier, you know, if you're gonna go out on a walk or go play, you know, with your kids. In my case, go with the kids to the park, and then be able to have the backpack in there and just use my imagination at any time I want to. That's pretty cool. I think that's the best part about it. You know, just whenever I want to, wherever I feel like it. So just like I said, I'll be driving around and I'll see a spot. I'm like, okay, I'll be back there.
Nice, cool. That was a good question.
Yeah, it
Sometimes I'm
really
always
was.
like, "What you gonna ask now?" That's a good one. You never know. But this is an awesome custom, by the way. That's
Yeah, that
awesome.
was my first custom toy I ever did.
Yeah, it
And
looks great.
yeah, that was
Great
another
cape.
picture. That cape is just a piece of cloth. There was nothing fancy to it. A lot of weathering. I think I overdid the weathering in my opinion, but again, this was like almost like a year ago, I think. So
Cool. Yeah, it looks great. Looks really good. Yeah. And thanks, guys. Yes, definitely. Thanks for throwing in the
it's
high
awesome.
Harleys in there. Um, all right, got some more questions still. This is I think Chris had more questions than anybody has
Oh,
ever asked. So I guess people are just super curious about you.
yeah.
Next is from Comic Dad, who I'm pretty sure has left, but um,
Oh, you know,
thanks,
right.
Comic Dad. Says, when did you discover your love for toy photography?
It was about exactly almost a year ago.
Yeah.
And it was through TikTok. I think it might have been. I can't remember if it was Facebook Reels or TikTok, but it came around like a BTS of like a picture with fireworks and whatever. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I want to try that, and that was it.
Cool. Do you remember who it was? If it was
Oh
somebody.
god, I can't remember to be honest. I mean, it was some random TikTok. There was no specific person I remember.
Thank goodness for TikTok. TikTok's just
Yeah,
a big world of everything. People are like, oh,
yeah,
it's just dancing and lip syncing. No, it's everything.
yeah. It's a
It's
lot.
everything.
I mean, Instagram is pretty cool too, but the problem with Instagram is like you have to mold it to yourself. You have to mold it to your likes. Otherwise, it's just gonna throw up everything at you. But
Yeah, it's true.
that's the only downside to it.
Yeah, TikTok is very friendly to everybody. You could do whatever you want to do. You could throw it up there, and a lot of people can see it. Doesn't matter what, which is cool. So, if you're ever trying to grow your audience and you're a toy photographer, don't don't doubt TikTok. TikTok's a great place to go.
Yeah. I throw a lot of my BTS on TikTok actually.
Yeah, throw it up. Just throw it up there. You never know.
Yeah.
You could get 1 million views just randomly. It happens.
Right.
It could just happen. So Andrew, great question. Next is from Figtography. It says, do you have a default settings while you're editing? So, is there anything that you just kind of do every time when you're editing, or just
Like post production or like on like Photoshop on Affinity stuff like that.
I'm thinking while editing, yeah, in post production, is there like a default thing that you do like all the time?
I do shadows and highlights. I mess with those on every single photo. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what it is. I always bring down the shadows. I mean, it gets a little bit of cinematic feel to it, and then whatever filter I put in at the very very end, it just makes it like pop a little bit. So that's
Cool.
my to-go-to thing. I always duplicate the layer, so I always have the original on the bottom. So when I'm done, I can always go back and forth to see which one, how like what I've done so far. So
That's really smart. That's really, really smart, especially when you're dealing with the lens flares and stuff. You never know what.
oh yes, yeah, I
So you
agree.
gotta keep that original one there just in case.
Yep.
Cool. Great question. Really great question. Next is from Off the Shelf Pictures.
Hey, off the shelf, what's up?
It says, what's one of your favorite figures toys in your collection? So, okay, we talked about the Mando one.
What's
So,
the banner one? I really like so many of them. All the Black Series from Star Wars are just awesome. Just because I love Star Wars so much, I mean, like, that Star Wars tattoo.
oh,
so,
sweet.
so like,
It's awesome.
anything Star Wars, I think it's my to go to. Like, especially like the Obi-Wan lineup from the show. That was actually really really cool.
Yeah, there were a lot of great figures that came out of Obi-Wan.
Yes,
Definitely.
definitely agree. But I mean, specific one. It's that's a sad thing about when you have like hundreds and thousands hundreds of toys. You're like, I don't know. The most expensive one, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that new Deadpool one, maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely my top 5 for sure.
Yeah, that's
For sure.
That's great.
Yeah, I have so I guess I can say that. So I've taken photos. So like a lot of my photos I've taken here, I actually use the Deadpool. So I will take a picture of, I don't know, let's just say the Ninja Turtle crossing the street, right? And I'll post a picture on Facebook. But I actually taken a picture with Deadpool behind it, and I have it on my bolt. So at some point, I'm gonna release all the pictures that I have with Deadpool in somewhere in like a little like a cameo of it too. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Great
I don't
idea.
know when I'm gonna do this, but I'll drop them eventually at some point. So you have the same pictures and then Deadpool in the background. Somewhere doing something silly.
Huh, that's really cool. That's a really cool idea. Really,
Yeah.
really clever. Also, I just want to say over here, Nick in the live chat. Sorry, this is what I want. Says I never knew this was even a thing until I met Chris. Pretty sweet to discover such a unique community of people embracing each other's creativity. Really cool. Hello from Oklahoma.
Oh, thank you, Nick. I met Nick not long ago, and I was like, hey man, you know, watch my life. So here it is. I appreciate you coming over, Nick.
Cool. Thanks, Nick. That's awesome. Also, very nice thing to say, and I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's a great. We're definitely lucky to have such a welcoming, awesome group of people.
Absolutely.
So that's really nice. Really nice of him. And off the shelf pictures. Also, thank you for the great question.
Thanks, man.
Next from Captain's Playtime. Can you remember which toy was the first one you shot? And he said, "Have lots of fun. Thanks."
It was the very first shot that I did was it was I never posted it, but it was Master Chief with Captain America.
Oh, cool.
I'll probably post it, but it was it was it was just the lighting was horrible. But yeah, that was my very first shot that I did that I actually put effort into, like putting the diorama and the lighting and
Cool.
But yeah, that was definitely it.
It's a cool crossover.
I'll definitely post it at some point.
Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. A crossover I wouldn't think of, but yeah, everybody's got to have a first shot.
That's why I love doing like those redo photos. I love doing those, even though I've only done it for such a small amount of time compared to a lot of people. Like you'd be impressed of how much it would change. Because there's a post on my Instagram, one of my collabs. I posted the new Thor picture and the previous Thor picture that I did the very first time, and the improvements are just huge.
That's really great, especially
is like the latest Thor picture.
I got it right here. Especially if you are you've only been doing this for a year, and you're already seeing those huge improvements. So here's your most recent one.
Yep, and that was my first one. God, it's so bad.
Yeah, you got. I mean, the lighting is. I would say the lighting is cool in this because you've got like that light source that's from the lightning, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
But you've got like cool angles and like all kinds of stuff in this. So can you imagine? You should do this shot again in another year, and then another year or another 2 years or something like that.
Just keep on rolling to see how far it goes.
That's a cool idea.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be really, really cool. Yeah, I love doing the redos. I mean, tutorials and trial and error will get you there.
Trial and error. That's the best. Yeah, best teacher. And what is it? Master Yoda says in, I think, The Last Jedi says, failure, the greatest teacher is, or how does he say it?
What was the minute? But yeah, I think I remember what you're talking about.
The greatest teacher, failure is, or something, and which is just great.
Yeah,
just great advice. Obviously, it's Master Yoda. Yeah. So that's awesome. That's really, really cool. All right, so we've still got some more questions. We've still got some.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to derail on that.
No, that's great. No, that's really cool. I'm glad we pulled that up. Thanks, Captain's Playtime. Next shot is from that Tolly Dottie. How long does it take to set up an average photo on average?
About 10 minutes just to set up. I will play with them. I will play with the action figure before going, just to see like the, especially if it's like a new toy. I will play with the angles and see like which poses works the best, and then I'm like, okay, I want to do it this way. And then when I go to the field or whenever I do it at, it takes me about 5-10 minutes for me to do that.
5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, because I have everything already put out in my head of how I want to do it. So like, for example, if I see like a place like where I want to do it at, I already picture the picture. That one negative. I already picture the scenario and how it's going to look like. So when I get there, I just boop, 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 set everything up.
Yeah, I know exactly the feeling. Like you kind of got this idea brewing in
Yeah.
your head for a
Oh yeah.
while, and once you set up, you know exactly what to do because you've been
Yeah.
thinking about it for
Right.
weeks or something. Yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah. And I've got another question here. I don't have a graphic for it because I totally forgot. So Mike Manzel sent over a
Yeah.
question in a message, and he said, "Hey Chris, what do you do to improve your photography and to stop you from getting in a rut?"
Tutorials. YouTube tutorials. I mean, I'm a sucker for YouTuber. For YouTube YouTubers because like they like it's it's a constellation. To me, toy photography is a constellation of everything, right? Diorama for digital editing, for photography itself, for collecting, all of that knowledge of pop culture. Everything is just one big constellation that's awesome, and it just in the end product's a picture. So like to me, I always look for next thing. So like for now, I'm doing like dioramas. That's what I'm working on right now. So I'm
Cool.
watching YouTube videos of like about diorama. So that it gives me like this fresh couple months of me learning and doing new things. And then once I kind of master it a little bit, then I'll probably do like modeling, for example, and then I'll
Cool.
master the modeling. So it's always like an ongoing thing, and that's why my pictures are never very consistent of like one thing. They're always like cars and tanks and this and that because I'm
Yeah.
always like mixing and learning things.
Lots of different stuff. It's true. If you look at your page, that's very apparent. That's so that's really cool. Great question, Mike. Sorry I
Yeah,
forgot to pull up the graphic
no, it's
because
super. It's a good question.
yeah, that's really really great. And I just Clarice Miller over here in the chat also throws a fun question. Says, "I joined late. Sorry if you answered this already, which we actually haven't. What gear do you
Yeah.
carry around with you for spontaneous shots? So what do you usually
Oh,
have with you?" That's a
I
great
usually
question.
carry two loom cubes with me. This little guys right here, little guys right here.
Awesome.
And then I carry a big light and then the reflector, like a carry-on reflector.
Yeah.
And then I have a 300 and the 50. What do you guys call it? What do you guys call them? Nifty 50?
The Nifty 50.
Nifty 50. Yeah, I carry that one with me. Those are my carry-on bags, pretty much. And then
Cool.
I've got a action figure prior a day prior, whatever. I feel like I only carry like one or two. I don't carry too much because if I carry too many, then my head gets cluttered, and I feel like I'm
Yeah.
running out of time.
Yeah, you kind of lose the magic of like the spontaneity of just going for a walk, finding something when you bring
Yeah,
so much the simplicity, like some of the best parts about doing that is the simplicity of it.
yeah,
When you bring too much stuff, you lose that simplicity. So yeah, I totally get you on that. That's really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's the less the more, if that makes sense. One action figure can come out with a lot of pictures.
Yeah, awesome. That was a great question, Clarice. That was really good question. All right, so the next one, and also thanks to Thitali for this question also. So next question is from Super Pufferfish, and we definitely kind of touched on this a few
Yeah,
times, but like, yeah, what's your inspiration?
just the creativity, the ability to create. I mean, it sounds super cheesy to say it like that, but it really is. So just the ability for me to create something, even if it's a video, a short, or cool picture or diorama. Even if I don't get to finish a diorama, just me spending that hour making that diorama, it's super awesome.
Yeah,
Because like anybody that does art, and the majority of us are art people and have that imagination way more than the normal person does, understands that when you sit down and you do art, it just you disconnect yourself from the world and you just focus on that, and it's like soothing and therapeutic if you want to.
yeah, it is.
So
Yeah,
yeah, definitely that just the ability to do that for sure keeps me going.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. Really great answer. And to even if this question feels like we get this question a lot, it's such an important question.
It
So
really
thanks
is.
for
Yeah.
asking that, Super Pufferfish. Um, so actually, McCoygraphy throws in a cool question in the live chat. Says, "Hi guys, my question will be: aside from the mainstream lines of toy photography like DC, Marvel, Star Wars, are you open to have any toy photography on tokusatsu figures like Ultraman or Kamen Rider, something like that?" So, I mean, the closest thing for me with that would be I do like Power Rangers, which is right up the line.
Yeah, I
there.
think I love Power Rangers. I mean, I'm a huge sucker for Power. There's a couple pictures I have of Power. I have one when Jason David Frank passed away. I did like a little tribute to it, and it was like a
Mhm.
White Ranger. So yeah, definitely, if that's the line, will be definitely be the Power Rangers for sure.
Cool. Yeah, and for me, um toy photography, a lot of my inspiration does come from the characters that I have like a connection with, and like
Yeah,
I just feel super inspired by things like Star Wars every day, just because I
yeah,
love it so much.
right.
So that's where so much of my love for toy photography will be rooted from. It's just the love for the characters I have that I love so much.
Yeah, this is like a weird special connection, right? Like you just don't know how to explain it, but you just like I get it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That was a great question though. Um, cool. So I've got still got a few more here. So thanks, Super Pufferfish, for that one. Oop, that's the wrong thing.
It's going
Um,
around, going everywhere, up and down, left, right.
it's bound to happen. Next is from Davison Clavijo. Do you think the 50 millimeter lens f1.8 for Canon is better than the kit lens for toy photography? So the kit lens, I'm probably referring to the like 18 to 55 millimeter that comes with a lot of them.
Yeah, I think when I first started, I had for this one right here. It's the oh boy, which one is it? It's a 50 to yeah. So it's I used this for like months. It was this first lens. So I think there's really no specific lens that works best because
Yeah,
like there's so many variables. There's so many combinations you can use. But like for me, for example, for this one, I learned to make the best of what I had because I didn't have a lot of money to just be spending a bunch of money on lenses. So I had to make do for this one. It was a 0.25 millimeter, 30 millimeter. Yeah. So I don't think there's a specific like setup in my opinion. I think it's just if you
yeah,
have something, you make that work to your
yeah,
best abilities, and then eventually move on and move on. I'm not very good tech savvy when it comes to camera stuff. I know the very basic minimum, but yeah, that's what I would advise.
yeah. I would say both are great. The kit lens you're talking about. There's a lot of stuff that lens can do that the 50 millimeter can't do.
Yeah,
50 millimeter is great because it's very universal, and it's also just like it's just like a nice easy lens to use. Like you can just do so much with it. Plus it's good in low light because you can get to like 1.8 and stuff. But the kit lens, there's a lot of things that does that the 50 millimeter can't do. Like you can't get as close. 50 millimeter, you
right,
usually got to be a little further away. So
correct.
yeah, whatever you got is great. But the 50 millimeter is definitely a good one to look into if you're looking
Yeah,
to try a new lens.
yeah, for sure. Definitely agree.
Definitely.
Hey, buddy,
Hierophant.
another Rug Toys member.
Nice. Awesome. The whole squad's here.
I know, right?
And this, oh, not the last one. This is from Aztec Warrior 93. If you had your own toy line, what would your first wave of figures be?
Oh,
Cool. Cool question.
oh, oh boy. God, I'm, I'm leaning towards say Star Wars, but I already said Star Wars too much. So I feel like it should mix it up a little bit.
Well, well,
Um,
if it can be Star Wars, just like what's a good first wave of figures that would be great for you that even if they have come out before, but like different kind of I don't know, it could be anything.
I don't know. Um, trying to think something a little bit outside the box here for this question. I will definitely do like speaking of Power Rangers, like the Megazords, have like a little better quality of those. Like more detail because like the ones they had, they're always very kid like, and if the
Yeah.
expensive ones are super expensive, I'm like, whoa, I don't have $1,000 to spend on this one. But I think like a good like $40 Megazord, that you can
In like
build.
a 12 or 6-inch scale.
Yeah, each one, so you can build
I
a mix.
agree. I
Just like
agree.
Mike Farley, just get on it. I'm sure you do
Yeah,
a great job at it.
I can't believe they haven't done that yet.
Yeah,
In a long time ago, SH Figure Arts did come out with a 6-inch, well, maybe not 6-inch, but around that scale Megazord
oh
from
really?
like Mighty Morphin, which is probably hundreds of dollars now. It's probably
Yeah.
outrageously priced, but something I've always wanted. But I thought Hasbro was going to do that when they picked up that license for Power Rangers. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, cool.
Or
Now I
even
can.
like a build model kit, like kind of like Gundam.
Yeah,
You
and
know, like
maybe
have like yeah, that'd be so cool. Have a Gundam and like a Megazord fight together.
yeah. What is up with that? Why haven't that? It'll happen eventually
Yeah,
because Hasbro's got it. But yeah, I think that would be cool too,
yeah,
like a 6-inch Megazord. And there's a lot of other great Zords that you could do, and that could be a whole line.
yeah,
There's so
yeah.
many.
So many of them. Yeah.
So there you go, Hasbro. Great idea. And
Good
so
job,
Aztec
Aztec.
Warrior,
Great,
great,
great question.
great question. Next from Lens Jasper. From where do you get your figures?
Most of them, most of them is Target, to be
Games.
honest.
Target.
Target and GameStop. I mean, those are my two
GameStop.
go-to places. Walmart has sometimes they'll have it's a hit and miss with Target.
Yeah.
But Best Buy, sometimes I do Best Buy,
Yeah.
and obviously your local comic book shops. Those are always there for you. But definitely my two go-to, like whenever I feel like I'm spending some money, Target and GameStop are my two go-to.
Yeah, I would agree. I think those two are the most reliable.
Well, because they have like a bunch of sales, especially like Target has like a bunch of clearance stuff. I mean, like
That's true.
how can you say no to like a $10 toy? You know,
Yeah, Walmart never really has any good
Oh.
clearance figures.
No,
Very
they will-
rarely.
They will let that toy rot.
Yeah.
So,
The only real Walmart clearance figures I've seen were the Eternals Marvel Legends.
I have the
They
whole
couldn't
collection.
give those away.
I have the whole collection.
$5. Like they were
Yeah,
$5.
I actually bought them at Target, not Target, excuse me, at GameStop for like $10 each. That was the only reason why I got it because I was like, well, they're all here, $10 each. Why not?
There is a 6-inch Megazord. There's a Walmart. Okay, you know what? I think I might have seen them. They're in a. I think I think I might have seen that.
There was like a new lineup that just dropped not long ago, right? It was like a different Hasbro one came with like a
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what? Are they like the Lightning Collection quality though? Or are they
No,
like kind of like more
they're
like a little kid, like 10?
just a little lower down, less joint movement.
Yeah, Turtle Fanboy. You're right. I do remember seeing them. But I'm curious to see what they're like, but it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to see because they
Then
have
again,
the
Right.
cardboard
Then
packaging.
again, I haven't really looked for Megazords, so that was just like top of my head, the idea of it.
I'm gonna have to look into that. So Lens Jasper, great question. Thank you for sending it in. Next is from King T Belly. What was your first toy photography pick? Actually, we did talk about that one. Your
Halo versus Captain America.
Yep. And that Leonardo says, "What's your opinion on AI art?" Which actually, this is the last question, and this is an interesting one. I'm definitely curious to hear what you think.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't had a chance to mess with it. So I've seen some photos and they look really, really cool and kind of creepy actually because they're so good. I'm like, this should not be this good. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I really neutral with that question, to be honest. Yeah, your name.
It's definitely interesting to see. I definitely enjoy seeing what it can do. And it's only going to get better, like probably very quick. But it is definitely a little alarming to think like, well, it takes me, hours to create something that's real. And then this AI can do it instantly. So it's a little alarming, but I'm sure there will be plenty of laws and stuff that like.
Oh, have you heard of the music? The people can actually make like artist voices. It's crazy. I'm like,
voices and music and even video. Yeah. Even video.
Yeah, creepy.
One thing that's really
creepy.
yes. One thing that's really cool that I tried and actually really like is there's some AI that can make like low quality photos like higher quality. So like there's some old photos that like I lost the originals of, so I had to like screenshot them on like Facebook a long time ago, and they're old pictures that are ones that I at the time thought were like some of my best, and I only have these crappy low quality like ones that I had to get from Facebook or when I saved them from Facebook. So I just uploaded them to this AI, and it basically went from like a 500 by 500 little picture to like 6,000, and it just made it super crisp and clean. I was like, wow, this is my photo crisp. It's amazing, and it was free.
Awesome. Yeah, no,
really cool.
I haven't had a chance to mess with it, like I said, but yeah, it looks pretty. That would be really, especially like an old photo from like the 90s.
Like if you have like an old
super
quality.
grainy.
Yeah, It's incredible. I tried to use it with one of my more recent photos to see if it could do that, but it wouldn't do it. It was like, this is too big already. We can't.
Yeah.
Do it. So I think AI is really cool if you use it as a tool as opposed to using it to do everything.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, neutral on that, definitely on that question.
Cool. All right, I have one last question for you.
Yeah. What's up?
Oh no, I have two. So
Two-part.
the first one being, what figure? I know this kind of was close to another question, but what figure that does not exist yet do you want to see? Like, what character or anything that you've always wanted to see and have in figure form, but they haven't made it yet. Nobody's made this figure yet.
I
What
could be
would
wrong.
you like
I
to
could be
see?
wrong. I'm sure I have not seen it, and I'm sure maybe Hot Toys might have it or something like that. But I would love to have the Keanu Reeves Constantine action figure.
Oh yeah, I bet you there is probably
I'm
one from
sure
way
there
back
is.
there.
I just have never
That'd
seen.
be cool though.
Yeah,
I like that movie.
especially coming to the second one's coming out here pretty soon, allegedly. So.
I like that movie. Cool. That's a really cool idea. And Stubbs over here. I will get that link and I might even make a video about it. It's actually really cool. But Stubbs, I'll send it over to you.
Yeah.
But that's a great answer. The Keanu Reeves. Yeah, Keanu Reeves Silver Moon. Keanu Reeves was Constantine, what, 2004?
7? Oh yeah,
Something like that.
It might have been 4 or 5. Yeah, super great movie. Super great movie.
Yeah, he's definitely not very like Constantine like from the comics.
No,
at least the way he acts.
Yeah,
it's still cool.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because the comic one has like yellow hair, like blonde hair.
Yeah, and he's British and
British.
stuff. And
British.
Keanu Reeves is not anything like that, but that's fine. It's not super adaptive of the character, but it's cool. It's got a young Shia LaBeouf in it.
Oh yes, that's right. He was the cab driver.
Yeah, really cool one. But great answer. My answer to this is always, I want a V for Vendetta figure. I want a good one.
Ooh.
I want like Mezco. I feel like Mezco would do a great job. And I want a Grinch, Jim Carrey Grinch. Where the heck are those?
Oh.
Come on.
Yeah, those are good ones. Yeah,
Come
for
on.
sure. The Vendetta one, definitely.
Yeah.
There's not a hot toy for that. I feel like it should be like.
The only two figures that I know of are ones that NECA made when the movie came out, and I have them both, and they're both like very like blocky.
Oh,
like, you can't really do it, but they look cool. But I want like a good one.
Oh,
If Hot Toy does the Hot Toy version, I'll buy that. Give me it. I just want something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So my last question is, where do you see yourself as a toy photographer in 5 years? Or what would you like? Goals?
I think I will definitely develop a little bit more on the YouTube side. I think I want to get more established because, like, right now I might be moving up north to Decorah. So if I do move, I want to focus a little bit more on the YouTube and doing collabs and stuff like that, because I think we don't see that enough in the toy photography community, where do a lot of actual like live collabs, like me going to somebody's house or meeting at a convention and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I plan in my future, but that'd be kind of cool to get to that point.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, who knows? I might just stick with photography and just Instagram only. So
cool.
We'll see.
Cool. I think that's great goals to have. It's always good to have goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Goals are good. Dreams are good, but goals are better.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Well, Chris, thank you so much for everything. Thanks for coming on. If you're watching, please make sure you're going and following him over here. His Instagram is right here. He's at 835 right now. I want to see if it's gone up since then. 835. Now we're at 835 still. Come on, guys. If you're not following him, go and follow right now. His link is right in the description of this video, or just go to Rogue XXL on Instagram. Please do. You won't regret it. You'll be like, he's got some great stuff.
Well, I really appreciate you guys doing this. brings the community together. I mean, it's super awesome, and keep up the good work, man. I truly appreciate your hard work.
Thank
I know
you,
it doesn't
man.
go. I want you to know that doesn't go unnoticed.
Thanks,
But
dude.
yeah, you're definitely making some changes out there for sure. Even in, even like a person like me that didn't know anything about photography, and then here a year later, I'm doing a somewhat of an interview about it. But yeah, thanks all you guys for watching. I really appreciate it taking your time. I know it's a busy day and late night for some areas, but greatly appreciate taking your time and listening to me rant about my toy photography.
That's awesome. And yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also Mile High Plastic Guy says, don't forget to like the video too. Yes, I didn't
Yeah.
ask for that one. And he says, smash the subscribe, Hulk smash.
Hulk
That's a
smash.
great, Joe, that's a great saying. You should start a YouTube channel and that should be your thing. Hulk
Hulk smash.
smash that subscribe button. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for watching. Chris, thank you. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week. And I will talk to you guys later. Thanks again. See ya.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.